This here is my new drone for the Kayak DIY YouTube channel. It's how I'm going to be getting those nice aerial views, but this drone is not like any other drone. This drone is a drone that takes off from water, and it's one that I had highly anticipated. There was several others on the market, but they were too big. They just weren't feasible to be able to put on your kayak and to be able to launch from your kayak. And there was just too many variables. I wanted something simple that was relatively competitive in price and something that could shoot high definition video. So I wanted 4K video at least, and that's what I got. I got a drone that is a similar span to the size of my hand. It takes off from water. If it falls upside down in the water, it can even flip itself over. So let's get this thing out of the box. For some of you guys, this might be deja vu, because yes, I got to about a little bit further than this and my live footage ended up losing signal. Okay, without further ado, this is the SwellPro Spry, and I'll have a link in the video description for this item. So what you got here is you got a brightly colored drone. Why do I like that? I like it because once it's in the water, I need to be able to see where it is in case the battery goes dead. That's what I like about this so far. We got buckles here, nice case. Everything fits in here nice and neat. Up in the top of the case, we got our propellers. We got little tools, cable, and yeah, little charging cables. Actually, it looks like they gave me 2 sets of props, so that's nice. We also have an owner's manual, which, being that this is from a Chinese company, I want to know whether or not this actually looks like a decent manual. So I'm going to just kind of peer through it, make sure that it looks decent, easy to read, because sometimes when you get these, they're not easy to read. But this is a reputable company. I don't want you to think this is just some fly-by-night Amazon $30 drone. This is actually a high-end drone company. This company already makes a very successful drone that can drop a 2.5-pound payload of bait for surf fishing. So this company's already established. I don't want you to think that this company isn't. Looking through, I like the manual. The manual, it looks like it's well done. It's very clear, concise. I like the graphics, has a little bit of color in there. So they did a good job with that. They didn't cut corners. Sometimes you get some of these higher tech items and it's like, how the heck do I use it? The instructions are terrible. That's not the case with this. The instructions are very clear. Let's see, let's start off with the controller. Wow, this feels like very good quality. We have an aluminum handle on the back, enough that I can fit 4 fingers behind there. Kind of nice feel to it. It has an aluminum lash point so that you can have like a neck leash to it. If this falls in the water, it will float. You have rubberized toggles. They feel nice and smooth. You got these rubberized boot covers on the switches here. So you got GPS mode, you got circle flight, you got attitude mode. This attitude mode will allow you to fly in like a full manual type mode. I don't know much about that. I'm probably not going to use it because I want this drone to have a lot of stability, because I'm going to be using it for filming and catching footage of the kayaks out on the water, so that you guys can get a wider perspective of the kayaks I'm testing. Here we got the antennas. Now, some people wondered about the antennas. How are the antennas waterproof? Well, if you unthread these antennas, you won't be able to see it with the live camera resolution, but there's tiny little O-rings there, and there's already a gentleman, I believe Dustin Dunhill on YouTube, has already gone over this and tested it thoroughly. and it has held up. Here we have our LCD display. Up on the top we have a pan up, a pan down for the camera. We got our recording feature here, so this is like to record or snap photos. And I don't remember exactly what this button does. I'd have to look in the manual. But the primary ones for camera control that I know of are this one here, which turns on your recording, and then you got your pan up, pan down. You got your power button, and you got a channel button to change channels. You also have your normal mode, and then if you hold this little momentary switch down, you can return to home. The controller has GPS, the drone has GPS, so this does have features like follow me, where I can have the drone follow the controller and it will stay aimed at the controller. So you can get really cool filming features. It has actually a bunch of smart modes, which you'll be able to get a little bit more in detail if you go to the link that's in the description of this live video. We'll set that aside. Okay, so inside, like right now, if I were gonna fly, I would have to have this little piece flipped this way. So this here is the back cover plate, which covers the battery door. There is a little membrane here. I believe it's hydrophobic, and it allows like pressure expansion and stuff. It allows air to pass through, but not water. It has a generous silicone seal with a little bit of silicone like grease around the edge, and this is a very tight seal. I just coming from an engineering background a little bit, it feels like it's good quality. I have a lot of confidence in this design. We have our power button here, and then when you push this power button, it engages a power button on the battery. So you're essentially turning the battery on, and then that sends juice to the actual unit itself. We can actually open this up here. So you turn this to open it up, and you got these two tabs here. And here we see our battery. It has like a nice little loop here on the battery. You can pop that out. There we go. The battery has the little contact points, which are recessed there, and they make contact with there. Inside you have a little like micro B port where you can actually change settings on the drone, which is kind of cool. So if you are into like flying this thing fast and doing like racing, FPV racing and stuff, you can do that. You can just modify the settings, but I'm not gonna probably get into that heavily. I'm mostly gonna just be using this for filming for the channel. So I'm not gonna be flying it crazy a whole lot. I'm gonna be flying it for filming. So there's a little tab here, you push in, and then you push down, and then you just make sure that you can't see the O-ring seal, and you just press it all around, and then you turn, and now you're ready to go. You got your props color coded here. The dome housing, I believe, is now glass, is what I was told. Originally they were using a polycarbonate, but now it's glass to have better optical clarity, so that when you're dropping this thing in the water and filming underwater and filming above the water, you just get a much crisper image. The drone dome is replaceable, so if you were to break it or so, you can actually replace it. They have a lot of replaceable parts. Like I said, this is not some fly-by-night company, pun intended. They are actually a legit company that produces really good quality. On the bottom of the drone, we have a heat sink, which helps cool the drone. So if you land it in the water, it's actually designed to cool this way. The SwellPro Spry has an expansion port located where the heat sink is. This allows the attachment of accessories, such as what we see here. They're using it to play around and do some fishing. You can stay tuned to the SwellPro store for possible addition of accessories. We got a Wi-Fi button so we can sync it up to like a phone. But when you're gonna go fly, you turn the Wi-Fi off. The Wi-Fi is mainly just if you want to sync your phone to the device and be able to modify some of the settings, like on the camera or so. I believe that's the primary use for it from what I've seen. The feet here are kind of a rubberized material, and yeah, there's kind of a look at it in comparison to my hand. Right here we have our battery charger, and then here's the charge cable, and then the other cable that goes to the actual battery is inside here. And that, my friends, is kind of a look at it. But before you guys end up going, I actually have one more surprise. Another remote control device for filming in the water. So you're gonna have to take a look at this. This one doesn't really belong to me, this other one. This one does, but the other one doesn't. The other one belongs to my friend, and we've already been testing it out in the back canal area, buzzing around doing different things. So we'll close that up here a second. Feel free though to ask a bunch of questions here. If I don't get to your questions during the video, I will hopefully get to them here after the video. I see we have like 5 or 6 people watching currently. I'm gonna grab the other filming device, the other remote control item. You guys are gonna like this one. This one's sweet. So take a look at this bad boy. This thing here is the GLADIUS. We have LED underwater lights. We got a 4K camera. We got twin thrusters here. We got thrusters here on the back side. This thing is ballast, I guess for saltwater, set up for saltwater according to what my friend said. Now the reason why it has to be tethered is Wi-Fi does not transmit through the water. You cannot do a wireless signal to devices currently with the current technology we have. So you have to have a tether system. This tether looks thin, but it's actually a very durable material. I don't know what material this is, but it almost feels like a rope and like a rubber all in one. Here we got a spool. So the way this works is when you turn those thrusters on, this thing just flies through the water and it pulls the line off the spool. And it's a very smooth process. We've already tested it. We have these right here, these antennas. These antennas here are used to be able to communicate to your phone. So the way it works is you have this control right here. This here is the control to run the underwater drone, and you put your phone in between. So your phone becomes the screen that you see, and you run it from an app. But this is almost like an Xbox controller in terms of layout. It's really, really neat, and it's pretty dang smooth. Now GLADIUS did come out with a drone, an underwater drone, which they call ROVs. They came out with a smaller version of this that has an additional third thruster right here. So it would have thruster, thruster, and thruster. What that means is it's going to be able to hold a position at an angle like this a lot better. This one here, you have to level out a little bit, like you have to kind of make some adjustments. This back end wants to float up a little bit sometimes. And so if you had that third thruster like you do on the GLADIUS Mini, which I'll have linked in the video description later on here, if you had the third thruster like the GLADIUS Mini does, you would be able to have much more control with your tilting. So I'm really excited about this. This thing's cool. We're gonna be, hopefully, my friend and I are gonna be able to test this and maybe put it down underneath some bridges and see if we can find maybe some cool things, like maybe a, I don't know, Goliath grouper, or he wants to use it for hunting fossils. He does fossil hunting, and he actually comes up with some pretty cool stuff. But the spool here, I believe, can go to 100 or 300 feet depending on which setup you get. It's just basically more cable or less cable. The Gladius Mini has a little bit different system than this. It's just a little bit different layout, but this just gives you a little bit of a general idea of what's available, and I'll have links to those as well, just because some of you guys might want to like share your adventures when you're out kayaking. I like to be able to record memories. I get into filming and sharing my adventures with you guys, and so having things like this drone here and having accessibility to something like this underwater drone, I'll be able to show you guys some things that maybe you guys wouldn't have been able to see before, or maybe be able to see it from a different perspective. But I actually think SwellPro Spry is going to be a game changer in aerial filming for water sports, because you're not going to have to worry about trying to catch that drone while on the water. So this here is exactly what I don't want to have to deal with when filming for my YouTube channel. I don't want to have to jump in the water and try to catch my drone. These here are DJI owners. These drones don't float, they're not waterproof, and this was about a $3,000 mistake. Here's the SwellPro Spry. You throw it in the water, you can even throw the remote in the water. The thing seems to love the water, and it produces quality footage like this. This here is promo footage from a few months back. I believe this footage might even have been done with one of the prototypes, so you can probably even expect a little bit better clarity yet. Plus, this footage was supplied from the YouTube channel of SwellPro, and this here was only 1080p footage, which I have now exported out in 4K. So you could probably expect the footage to be even better than what you're seeing right now. Also, in the early prototype stages of the SwellPro Spry, they were using a polycarbonate lens, which didn't have as clear a picture. Now they're using glass lens, and it's replaceable dome, and the picture quality is said to be significantly better. So what you're seeing here might not even be as good as what it can be. So you really should check out the SwellPro Spry. I think it's going to be a game changer out on the water for filming adventures. Thanks for watching Kayak DIY. Please like, subscribe, and share with friends. Check out the links in the video description below for more info.